that even among the Super Gym community, there is enough quote unquote suspicion with the eye movements in particular that it's worth just doing this really quickly just to establish the extent of slanderous lies and the just the depths to which this has descended to. Um, so I am. I know that I have nothing to prove. Literally, as I said earlier, one of the reasons that I decided to stream most of my TTs is precisely because I anticipated this kind of situation. And unfortunately, things like innocent until proven guilty, things like streaming your games, are no longer sufficient for a large swath of people. And I think it's very easy for me to do this. It costs me nothing. I have this streaming space ready. And if there's a small step that I can take to expose the malice and foolishness, and most importantly, just like the mendacity and manipulation in everything that he's saying and doing as part of this sudden character assassination, when most importantly, let me establish once again, I have never cheated. I did not cheat in the games that he is clearly, not accusing me of cheating in. Absolutely not. I will share a few things about what I would have been prepared to do if these suspicions had been phrased in a good faith manner. I'm not prepared to do these things anymore because clearly the party on the other side is not interested in actual dialogue or is not interested in me proving anything at all, but rather in just harassment. And, maybe it's tied to like hatred for chess.com. I'm not going to speculate. But I'm not just going to like sit idly by if there's something easy I can do to disprove some of the worst allegations. So in any case, I just want to start by quickly showing my room, the room that I stream from now and stream from then. In general, I don't like sharing more than what you guys see, but this is an exception, and this is not like a particularly remarkable room. But first, I'll start, and I'm happy to install a camera behind me so you can see the monitors. Don't worry, I will not dox myself. But just very, very quickly to lay the groundwork, I'm streaming from a laptop, and one thing that I do not remember is sometimes I have the chessboard in front of me on the laptop, and to the left of me is a monitor, as I'll show you in a second, and on that monitor is the chat and usually the actual OBS. I had a stretch where I inverted the two. I had the monitor in front of me and the laptop to the side. I even once tried having the board to my left, but back in that stream, I had the board directly in front of me. I just don't remember if it was the laptop or monitor, but I'm pretty sure it was the laptop given the angles. I have the purple backlight behind me. You'll see it. And that's basically all you have to know. My webcam is sitting on top of the laptop, so I'll show you where it's located. And the room is basically exactly as it was back then. There's nothing else added to the room other than some wires and cords. And again, using a slightly different monitor, but my old monitor is here as well, and I'm happy to use it. Here's the room. So I'm sitting on this chair. But one second, let me just make sure I don't have any sensitive information. Let me make sure I close Stockfish. Here is, just a second, guys. Make sure that I be doubly sure. But first, you can see that I'm slightly using a different mic. I still have the Blue Yeti, but this is the mic I usually use. You can see that here is OBS, which is open right now. This is on the monitor to my left. But normally, when I was playing Title Tuesday, I would have this open right now, the chat open right now. This is the chat. Again, the font size might have been slightly different, but it's a monitor. And then to the right of the monitor is my actual laptop. Here's the chessboard, chess.com. I have nothing else open other than Spotify and settings. I'll close settings. That's it, as I never had anything open then. And yeah, the webcam sits on top of the laptop right here, where you can see that my laptop webcam is on. I'll turn it off, but that this is where the webcam sits. Behind me is just a wall. In front of me is this couch. That's a book on Ian Fleming. Don't worry, that's not Stockfish. There are some wires on the floor that weren't there previously. They're old wires from laptops and stuff like that. My monitor is there as well. To the right is a window. I sometimes look out that window. There are trees. Nobody can climb on top of it. And this store just has some chairs in it. I'd be happy to open and show it. And then to my right is the door to the outside world. Behind me, you can see, again, old chargers, just wires, etc. And that's my legs. This is the actual table. There's a printer, lamp, my phone, which is usually on the other side of me, but that's basically it. The ceiling has no dents or nothing installed on it. Just wanted to make sure I'd be happy to provide a square inch by square inch breakdown. Let me reconnect my webcam. Just a moment. And that's it. My webcam's frozen. Whoa, white noise. Thank you for the subs. Just a second. Got to reconnect. There we go. Oh. So that's it. That's what everything looked like. And as you'll see when I'm playing, when I was playing that Title Tuesday, there was no rule to minimize chat to emote only. I think my mods can attest to the fact that I never had any chatters suggesting moves. And I usually had chat open at that point if I wasn't playing for first place. Sometimes I would minimize the chat and keep OBS up. Sometimes I would minimize both and just have my desktop up. But when I would have chat up, as you guys know, I look at it pretty frequently. So if I'm doing this, I'm looking at the chat on my monitor on the left, looking back at the laptop. If I'm looking to this side, I look out the window. If I'm visualizing something, sometimes I do this, and I'm looking literally at the floor trying to visualize something. Or I'll go like this to adjust the lamp settings. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Yasser. I will be honest. It feels like I'm in the Salem witch trials, and it's your endorsement matters a lot. Thank you. It's an honor. So let me think. Now, as for the shifty eyes, I'm sure you will see it as I'm playing, but I don't know how I could break it down in a more detailed manner. As you guys know from my stream, I have not a nervous tick, but I will look at the chat even if the position's super tense. I'll glance over at the chat, back at the board. It's sort of a nervous thing that I do. I'm not always even acknowledging what's going on in the chat. I could probably see if I could reconstruct the chat from that day, but it's just something that I do to help me orient myself. I literally did not press or touch anything on my monitor during the entirety of that Title Tuesday. And I would also be happy if Kramnik or his cronies were acting in better faith to hand in all of the devices I've ever owned. I think I had a different phone back then. I still have it. It's completely cracked, but it still works. I have never installed an application on that phone other than chess.com. I've never installed a Stockfish application or anything. I'd be happy to turn that in, turn in all of my laptops, my desktop, strip, literally play in Antarctica, surrounded by 8,000 FBI agents. So that's, he asked for a breakdown of where my eyes go. And then I have the audacity to look at the chat when it was completely legal to do so. And that's the answer. So I'll do the stream from here. It'll be a normal stream, but just wanted to set the record straight on the bullshit that's coming out of his mouth and also seems to be picked up by, I know, a very small percentage of trolls and haters, but nonetheless, it's unpleasant for me to see all of this because, again, lest people forget, just let me go starting soon for a second. This was one of my most memorable photos. My parents, let me see. My mom took this photo and I would stare at it for hours. I had one with Lecco and one with Kramnik. I'll dig the one up with Lecco. My mom sent me that one. This one's on the internet, my old coach's page. That's 2008. And I was, of course, way too shy. This is the Tall Memorial in Moscow. But my parents, after Leko and Kramnik finished analyzing their game, which I think was a draw, they both were very gracious to take a photo of me. And I never forgot that. I was like beaming for like 2-3 weeks. So it sucks and it makes me sad. I wouldn't have believed then that this is what it has come to now. Well, I know, Yasser. It's like those intervening years, man. I did life wrong. I need to be like you, like a fine wine. Again, I want to just like add, I'm not doing this that nobody should answer like hate with hate. Like he's not hating on me. Just to be clear, I'm not accusing Kramnik of accusing me or anything at all. I take him at his word. It's not personal, but listen, I'm simply answering his request to explain my eye movements or whatnot. I will do the same thing when I stream from my main setup. I'll have a camera behind me, and you will see that all that I'm doing if I'm looking up is I'm looking at the top of my monitor. I have like a 30-inch monitor, and to see the 8th rank, I have to do this. Literally, that is all that I am doing. And yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys, for listening. I appreciate it. I had to get this out because this cost me nothing to do, and it's an easy way that I could spotlight the madness that we've come to apparently. Thank you, Rahul SRK. I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys have all been very supportive, and just to be clear, one point of serious frustration for me has been that some people are angry on my behalf because like I'm getting accused or I'm on the other end of these insinuations. That's absolutely not a reason to get upset at all. I understand, as I understood several years ago, like this is a legitimate query. Like if you're someone who's retired from OTB chess and you're one of the top Blitz players, it's legitimate to ask you to take certain reasonable measures to at least increase the, Aswaj legitimate concerns. I get it. And that's why initially I was on the train and I was ready to do anything necessary, play from the chess center with Peter watching me. I mean, anything at all. But at some point it crossed the line. Thank you, Berserk Blade. The other thing is, what was I going to say? Suspicions. Crap, thought completely exited my mind. Yeah, not angry because of the suspicions, but because of the way that they're presented. What? Oh yeah. The other thing is like if I'm playing a 2500 now in Title Tuesday and I get destroyed, expressing light suspicion or just being honest about how I felt during the game, it does not equate to being Kramnik. So I would just encourage people to I think the only way out of this is to separate malicious suspicion from legitimate suspicion. Nobody denies that this is an existential problem, especially in light of the Shevchenko case. This is I am as disgusted with this as anybody, and I think that everybody should retain the right to quote unquote publish statistics, right, and ask legitimate questions and whatnot. So hopefully people can at least draw a slight bit of nuance between, okay, 2300 has 10 out of 10 in Title Tuesday. Pointing it out doesn't make you Kramnik. But pointing to 100 people and saying, look, I caught 2 cheaters, but I destroyed 98 reputations, that's worth it. That's wrong on the other extreme. Have I been guilty in the past of being too trigger happy? Absolutely. And I've tried to acknowledge that. And I've tried to do better when I'm genuinely suspicious, to be more specific about what aroused it and more specific in how I choose my words. But I still think that a GM should retain the right to do that in reasonable quantities. But I appreciate it. But Yamikar, this community, it doesn't. But unfortunately, the people who do aren't just trolls and bots. There's a non-zero quantity of people who are making their conclusions on the basis of lies. They're welcome to dislike me or hate me. It's just, it kills me that these are all like actual lies that are causing people to call me like Ted Bundy, like the Ted Bundy of chess. Like Ted Bundy, really? Not even Jack the Ripper or Vlad Dracula. Ted Bundy. I'm a serial killer now, because I move my eyes in a direction that you don't understand. Really? Or